So, interesting again, all kicking off with Man United. And here's my take of what the big problem is. And before I get into that, if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, and comment. The support is appreciated. So, Man United, what's going on? There's a few things, and I think you've got to kind of split what's happening. On one hand, how many world-class players do they actually have? And I think collectively it's agreed there's quite a few world-class players in there. There's some players there that most people, if not everybody, agrees don't play to their standards, could do better. So, and you're now left with, well, there's been a few managers, haven't there, since Fergie left. And Fergie has left, it's almost like a hangover that just hasn't gone away. You know, and I think there's a few reasons for that. The first thing that springs to mind when I look at this is, and this isn't disrespecting any of those players, any existing players with Man United, but how many of those players would have been picked under Fergie? Would he have brought those players in? And that's the thing that I'm wondering. Fergie bought his stars. Fergie bought unknown people and helped develop them. Fergie even tried to revive a few careers. You know, he supported Owen. He supported Larsson. Famously, was happy to take a chance on Van Nistelrooy when he broke his leg, and said, "You know what? We're still interested in you." So, interestingly, I've just named strikers. So, but I question, if you look at that Man United team now, how many of those players would Ferguson have purchased over the years? And my honest answer is I don't know. One thing about Fergie is he liked players to do a specific job, a specific role. He wasn't really a guy that chased after players that could play in lots of different positions. I mean, there were players, you know, Phil Neville was one, but he released Phil Neville. You know, Scholes went from an attacking midfielder to a holding midfielder. Ryan Giggs went from the left and then started straying through the middle. But when you mention Scholes and Giggs, you're talking two of the finest midfielders of their generation. So that's the first thing I think is, what if Ferguson was still around, what players would he have? And I suspect a lot of those players wouldn't be in the fold. I just don't think they were his picks. That's not what I think the biggest problem is, though. I think the problem is egos. And this is where I think there is the real hangover from the Alex Ferguson days. Sorry, the Sir Alex Ferguson days. Sir Alex Ferguson was the biggest ego in the dressing room. And you bloody well knew it. And any player coming in knew who the ego was. And it doesn't matter how big your ego is. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm Sir Alex Ferguson. This is Man United. And I'm the only ego that bloody matters. And you've seen this. David Beckham, he left. Ronaldo, he left. Roy Keane, he left. Even Wayne Rooney was put in his position, was put in his place by Ferguson. Fergie didn't give a shit who you were. And he built his entire team ethos around, this is my dressing room, my club, my team. And you either fit in or you fuck off. That was Ferguson in a nutshell. And I think one of the problems that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had is, especially when they were like, well, let's get in a lot of ex-Man United guys who understand what Man United's about. But none of them had the ego. None of them had Sir Alex Ferguson's presence. And you're trying to replicate a regime. You're trying to replicate a managerial style without the key component. And it doesn't matter how good you are, it can't be done. And I think that is the biggest problem with Man United right now. It's just a team of egos. And the egos on the pitch are bigger than the manager's ego. And he just doesn't have a grip. And that's not having a dig at the current manager. I think, but you look at the previous managers from Van Gaal, David Moyes, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and now Ragnick. And it can't all be the managers, can it? You've got to eventually say, maybe there's a bit of a problem with the team. And it's not their physical ability. It's not their footballing skill. So the problem's got to be their egos. It's got to be a mindset. And that, ultimately, I think, is the problem with Man United. And if you look across at Man City, Pep has a big bloody ego. Klopp, he's a humble guy. I bet he's got a big bloody ego. Tuchel at Chelsea, yeah, he's well known for having a big bloody ego. Conte, when he gets to grips with Tottenham, he's known for having a big bloody ego. They're all my way, or you're not playing. And Man United, I think that's the thing they've lost. And I think all you have now is a team of egos running around, all bouncing into each other, getting in each other's way. And I don't honestly know what the solution is. You can't, when you look at players and it's so, was it Fergie, or was Fergie just good at picking the right players? Gary Neville would have died for Fergie. Ryan Giggs would have died for Fergie. Scholesy would have died for Fergie. On the pitch, when Roy Keane was at his best, he'd have died on that pitch for Fergie. For Man United, all of them would. Everett, Schmeichel, just any one of that team, Park Ji-young, what wouldn't they do on that pitch for Man United and Ferguson? And, have a look at that ego, those egos on the pitch today, and ask yourselves, what would any of them do for Man United? And be honest, really honest. Do you look at those guys and think, yeah, they'd take one for Man United? Because it's not what I see. And I ultimately think that is going to be, and continues to be, the main problem with Man United. It's just a team full of egos. And under Ferguson, he was the biggest ego of them all, and he kept them all in check. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.